Okay, welcome to lesson 20 of numbers in operation. Multiples, LCM and LCD. So I guess this will be part 2 of the previous lesson, 19, when we introduced it. But we're just going to go a little bit deeper, do a couple more examples. Here's our objective. Our vocabulary, least common multiple, is the smallest number that is common to a set of numbers. So if you run through the lowest common multiples of 4 and 6, so 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 12. For 6 times 1 is 6, times 2 is 12. And there's your lowest common multiple, the first number that both numbers multiply into. You got your least common denominator. That's the lowest common multiple for the bottoms of fractions. Okay, so let's deal with our first example, 6 and 24. So we're not looking for factors, we're looking for multiples. 6 and 24. So we can run through our 6's and we can run through our 24's. So 6 times 1 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 3 is 18, times 4 is 24. 24 and 24. This is the lowest common. And a lot of students get confused with this. They say, well, 24 is a number. Why don't I have to run through the multiples of 24? Well, 24 times 1 is 24. So there you go. 24 times 1 is 24, and that's why 24 is the lowest common multiple to 6 and 24. You do not have to multiply 24 anymore. Let's look at our second example. We have a set of fractions, 5 over 6, negative 3 over 7, and negative 1/5. Okay, so now what are we looking for here? We're looking for the lowest common multiple of the denominators. So we do 5, 6, and 7, and we run through it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Okay, 6. Running through our multiples of 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, 36. Oh, I missed one, 30. 30, then 36, then 42, and 48, and 54, and 60, and 66, and 72. All right. Sometimes you're going to have to run through a lot of multiples to get common multiples. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91, 98, 105, 112, 119, 126, 133, 140. Okay, that's a lot. Did we come across anything that's the same to all three numbers yet? We got 30 here, we got 30 there. We don't have 30 here. So 60, 60. We don't have 60 here. We're going to have to keep running up. Okay, so let's see, 70. 6 doesn't go on a 70 evenly. 5 does. All right. Let's look for our next one. 105. 6 will not divide into 105. A 6 going to 140. A 6 going to 12. 20. Nope, 6 is not going to 140 evenly because 6 times 3 is 18, and that leaves you with a remainder. So this is not a whole number factor. Now, when you come across a situation like this, what you're going to have to do is multiply all three numbers together. 5 times 6 times 7. See, we ran through 14 numbers of 5. We ran through 10, 11, 12 sixes, and we ran through 77 is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We ran through 27s, and we did not get a common number. So what I'm doing here is I'm multiplying all three numbers. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 times 7 is 210. I know that all numbers will divide into 210. How do I know this? Because we multiplied all three numbers. So I am going to use 210 as the lowest common multiple and the least common denominator. Sometimes it just you just had to keep going and going and going. And if you get past 15 numbers, you might just have to multiply the sets of numbers together to get your common multiple. This may not be the lowest, but it probably is. So that ends this lesson. This is the example. Yep, that was the example. And work on the practice problems, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Okay, since we had covered this stuff before, we will see that there's only two problems here. So, 4 and 13. What I suggest you do here is multiply these two numbers together. And 13 times 4 is 12, 52. So I'm guessing that 52 is going to be the lowest common multiple, because if we run through our 13s, we get 13, 26, 39, and then 52. And I know 4 doesn't go into any of these numbers but 52. Okay, so now here we go. Negative 1 over 12, 3 over 16, and negative 5 over 18. And so we could waste our time running through all of these numbers, but the fastest way to do something like this where you're not sure is multiply 12 times 16 times 18. And you can multiply these numbers by hand, or you do it on your calculator. Your phone has a calculator on it. So 12 times 16 times 18 is 3,456, 3456, and that is going to probably be the lowest common denominator to all of these numbers. And now watch how this works. To get to 12, you'll multiply 16 times 18 to get here. You have 16, so you have to multiply times 12 and then times 18. And because you have 18 here, you'll have to multiply by 12 and 16 to get up to 3456. And so that wraps this one up. This is a higher level. So what you'll see in future videos is if you had the same lesson or similarly titled lesson, the first video will be real simple numbers and real simple concepts, and then the second video will be a little bit more difficult, or numbers that are fractions or decimals or something like that. So this is our first example of the easier problems and then more difficult problems. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you're getting it. We have 1 or 2 more lessons on dealing with fractions and how they work before we actually start adding and subtracting fractions.